Trust, authenticity. These aren't just words. They're the foundation of any meaningful relationship, whether it's with others or with ourselves. We all want connection. We want to be seen, heard, understood. But to truly experience the depth of those connections, we must first allow ourselves to be vulnerable. It's a paradox. The more we open up, the more we find strength in our weakness. And in this truth lies the power that can unlock not only our relationships, but also the vast potential within us. We often build walls around ourselves. The world teaches us to protect, to guard our emotions, to never show weakness. But what if vulnerability isn't a weakness? What if instead, it is the very key to the freedom we seek in relationships? To love without fear, to give without expectation. It's not about what others can do for us. It's about what we can offer raw, unfiltered, unapologetic. Take a moment. Think back to a time when you truly trusted someone, when you gave them not just your time, but a piece of your soul. It wasn't easy, was it? But it felt right. In that moment, you realized that vulnerability wasn't about losing control. It was about gaining something far more precious, genuine connection. We all yearn for this. The ability to be ourselves, fully, without fear of rejection. But this requires courage. The courage to show up as we are, not as we think the world wants us to be. In every relationship, there's a turning point. That moment when you decide to let your guard down, when you decide that the risk of opening up is worth the reward of truly being seen. It might start with a simple conversation, or an unexpected moment of kindness. But once it happens, everything changes. You realize that the connection you've been seeking has always been there, waiting for you to take the first step. It's not about finding the right person. It's about becoming the right person, one who can embrace vulnerability, trust deeply, and love fiercely. But why does vulnerability hold such power? Because it allows us to experience life as it is, not as we wish it to be. It challenges us to face our fears, to confront the parts of ourselves we hide from even our closest friends. It teaches us that we don't need to be perfect, we just need to be present. The moments we share in vulnerability, in the quiet of a conversation, in the openness of a look, are the ones that leave the deepest mark on our hearts. It's a powerful truth. The more you allow yourself to be vulnerable, the more you unlock the power to grow. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens when you step into the unknown, when you dare to be real, to show up fully. And this, my friends, is where true personal growth begins. You see, we often think that strength comes from what we can control, from what we can hide, from what we can protect. But true strength is born in vulnerability. It is when we let go of the need to be perfect, when we surrender to the process of life, that we find ourselves in the most powerful version of who we are meant to be. The walls we build around ourselves, they're not keeping others out, they're keeping us in. And when we tear them down, we set ourselves free. But here's the catch. Vulnerability is not about being weak. It's about being strong enough to show up as you are, without pretense. It's about trusting that you are enough, just as you are. This is the heart of personal growth. The ability to show up, to trust, to love, and to be loved, without fear of rejection or judgment. The beauty of vulnerability lies in its simplicity. It is the quiet courage to let someone in, to trust that they will not hurt you, to believe that you are worthy of love without condition. And this, my friends, is where we find true connection, not in the superficial, not in the polished versions of ourselves, but in the raw, unguarded moments that reveal our truest selves. This is where the magic happens. And so, it begins. It begins with you. The decision to be vulnerable, to trust, to embrace authenticity in every moment. Because when you do, you unlock the power to create not only deeper relationships, but a deeper connection with yourself. A connection that transforms every part of your life, every step you take, every person you meet, and that, my friends, is the power of vulnerability. Trust is a fragile thing. Once broken, it's not easily repaired. But when nurtured, when protected, Trust can grow into something unshakable, the very foundation on which our lives are built. And authenticity? Authenticity is the rarest of gems. It's the ability to stand in your truth, no matter the cost, no matter the fear. It's the key to becoming who you were always meant to be. We live in a world that constantly demands more from us. More success, more status, more perfection. But what if the greatest gift you could give to the world was simply to be yourself? To show up with all your flaws, all your imperfections, and still stand tall. To trust that your true self is enough. To believe, deep down, that you are worthy of love, respect, and success, just as you are. But here's the thing. Trust and authenticity don't come easy. They require work, patience, and most of all, honesty. The honesty to look at yourself in the mirror and ask, am I truly being who I am, or am I trying to be someone else? It's easy to hide behind the masks we wear. It's easy to play the game, to pretend we have it all together. But true growth doesn't come from pretending. It comes from being real. When you begin to trust yourself, when you embrace your authenticity, you open the door to a world of possibilities. You stop seeking approval from others and start finding validation within yourself. This is where the magic of personal growth happens. It's when you stop looking for external answers and start trusting your own intuition, your own wisdom, your own journey. And this journey, it's not always easy. There will be setbacks, there will be moments of doubt. There will be times when the world tells you to be someone you're not. But if you stay true to yourself, if you continue to trust that your path is yours to walk, you will find that the rewards are far greater than any external validation. The rewards are the peace that comes with knowing you are enough, exactly as you are. Authenticity is not about being perfect, it's about being real. It's about showing up in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about embracing your imperfections and using them as stepping stones toward growth. Every flaw, every mistake is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve into the person you were always meant to be. Trust, too, is built through authenticity. When you trust yourself, when you trust that your choices are guided by your truth, you begin to attract the right people into your life. The people who see you for who you really are, not for who you pretend to be. And those are the relationships that matter most. They are the ones that nourish your soul, that lift you up, that inspire you to keep growing. In every moment of doubt, in every moment of uncertainty, remember this. Trust in yourself, trust in your journey, trust that you are exactly where you need to be. And when you embrace your authenticity, when you show up as the real you will find that everything else falls into place. The universe has a way of aligning itself with those who are true to themselves. So, trust in your authenticity and watch how the world responds. But here's the most important part. Trust and authenticity don't just unlock personal growth. They unlock the power to transform the world around you. When you lead with authenticity, when you show up with trust, you give others permission to do the same. You create a ripple effect of vulnerability, of trust, of real connection. And in this world of noise, of distractions, that is the greatest gift you can give to yourself, to those you love, and to the world. So be true, be vulnerable, trust yourself. And watch as the power of authenticity transforms not only your life, but the lives of everyone you touch. That's the power of trust and authenticity, the power to change everything. There is a paradox in life, a truth that we often overlook. Strength is found in vulnerability. The world tells us to be strong, to hide our weaknesses, to put on a facade and protect ourselves. But in reality, true strength arises not from guarding our hearts, but from opening them. It comes not from hiding our imperfections, but from embracing them. We all carry burdens. We've all faced disappointments, failures, heartaches. But these experiences don't define us. They are simply chapters in the book of our lives, chapters that contribute to the depth of who we are. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, when we allow ourselves to be imperfect, we tap into a power far greater than the walls we build around our emotions. We tap into the strength of resilience, of growth, and ultimately, of peace. Consider the moments when you've truly faced your fears, when you've been so vulnerable, so open that you thought the world might see the cracks inside. It is in these moments, when we show our wounds instead of hiding them, that we discover the depth of our own strength, the strength to heal, the strength to move forward, the strength to become more than the sum of our scars. And it's in this space, where vulnerability and strength coexist, that personal growth takes root. It is easy to want to be perfect, to want to impress others, to live up to the expectations of the world. But perfection is an illusion. No one is perfect, and the pursuit of perfection only leads to frustration and self-doubt. It is in the acceptance of our flaws that we find true freedom. Freedom from the constant pressure to be something we are not. Freedom to simply be who we are, in all our imperfect beauty. The key to unlocking this power lies in one simple truth: acceptance. Acceptance of ourselves as we are, with all our flaws, our mistakes, our shortcomings. Acceptance that life will never be perfect, but it will always be worth living, if we approach it with authenticity and grace. When we stop fighting our imperfections and start embracing them, we free ourselves to grow, to love, and to live fully. This isn't to say that we should resign ourselves to mediocrity. Far from it. The beauty of embracing our imperfections is that we are then free to improve, to evolve, and to become better versions of ourselves. But this improvement comes from a place of self-love, not self-criticism. It comes from the understanding that growth is a journey, not a destination. We are not striving to be perfect. We are striving to be the best we can be, flaws and all. By accepting our imperfections, we open the door to real transformation. This is the paradox. When we stop fighting to be perfect, we become more powerful. Our imperfections are not weaknesses. They are the source of our strength. They are the very things that allow us to connect with others, to empathize, to grow, and to become the people we were always meant to be. So, let go of the need to be perfect. Embrace your flaws. Embrace the scars that tell the story of your journey. And in doing so, you will unlock a strength you never knew you had. It is in the acceptance of your imperfections that you will find your true power. Fear is a powerful force. It can hold us back, keep us stuck, and keep us from living the life we're meant to lead. But it can also be a teacher. Fear is not something to avoid or suppress. It is something to confront, to understand, and to overcome. And when it comes to building trust and authenticity, fear is often the greatest obstacle we must face. At the core of fear lies the fear of being vulnerable. We fear that if we open up, if we show our true selves, we will be rejected, hurt, or judged. We fear that our imperfections will be seen as weaknesses, that others will see us as unworthy of love and respect. But the truth is, the more we hide, the more we shrink. The more we build walls to protect ourselves, the more isolated we become. The very thing we fear, vulnerability, is the thing that will set us free. Trust and authenticity are built on vulnerability. But how do we open up when we are so afraid? The answer lies in taking small steps. It begins with recognizing that fear is a natural part of being human. We cannot eliminate fear, but we can choose how we respond to it. We can choose to face it head-on, to step into the discomfort, and to trust that on the other side of fear lies the freedom to be ourselves. Building trust, whether it's trust in ourselves or trust in others, requires us to take risks. It requires us to be honest, even when it's difficult. It requires us to show up, even when we feel uncertain or vulnerable. But it also requires us to believe that the people we trust will hold that vulnerability with care and respect. This is where true connection is formed, when both parties are willing to be authentic, to trust, and to take the leap together. Trust also requires patience. It is not something that is built overnight. It takes time, consistency, and effort. But the more we practice being authentic, the more we practice trusting ourselves and others, the easier it becomes. Over time, trust becomes a natural part of our relationships, a foundation that supports us even in the most challenging moments. As we embrace vulnerability and authenticity, we begin to realize that the things we fear most are often the things we need the most. It is in the moments when we feel the most afraid, the most uncertain, that we are given the opportunity to grow the most. It is through facing our fears that we develop the courage to trust, the courage to be ourselves, and the courage to build meaningful relationships. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we give others the chance to do the same. And in doing so, we create a space for authenticity to flourish. We create a space where true connection can happen, where trust can be built, and where growth can take place. This is the power of vulnerability. It is the key to unlocking personal growth, to building deeper relationships, and to living a life that is truly authentic. So, take the leap, confront your fears, trust yourself, be authentic, and watch how the world responds. The more you allow yourself to be vulnerable, the more you will find that trust and authenticity come naturally. And in the process, you will unlock the greatest power of all, the power to be fully, unapologetically, and authentically you. We spend much of our lives grasping at control, holding tightly to the reins of our existence. We think that if we can control everything, we will be safe, secure, and happy. But what if the very thing we cling to so tightly is the very thing that's holding us back from true freedom? What if, in our quest to control, we are denying ourselves the chance to grow, to evolve, to experience life in its purest form? Letting go is not a weakness. It is an act of immense strength. It is the courage to surrender control, to trust that life will unfold as it's meant to. The need for control often stems from a fear of the unknown, a fear of uncertainty. But when we hold on too tightly, we create resistance. We fight against the flow of life, and in doing so, we prevent ourselves from stepping into the opportunities that await us. When you let go of control, you are not giving up. You are simply releasing the need to micromanage every detail, every outcome. You are allowing life to happen as it should, trusting that you are exactly where you need to be at this moment. It's about surrendering to the present, trusting that everything is unfolding for your growth, even when you don't understand it at the time. This is the paradox of letting go. By releasing control, we gain freedom. We free ourselves from the constraints of perfectionism, from the constant striving, and from the fear of failure. We open ourselves up to new experiences, new opportunities, and new perspectives. We stop chasing outcomes and start enjoying the process of life. This is where true growth begins, when we stop forcing things to happen and simply allow them to unfold naturally. Letting go is not just about external circumstances. It's also about letting go of the internal barriers we create. It's about releasing old patterns of thinking, limiting beliefs, and past wounds that keep us stuck. We all have baggage, things we carry from our past that weigh us down. But holding on to these things only limits our growth. The more we let go of the past, the more space we create for the future. And in this space, we find the potential to evolve into the people we are meant to become. When you let go, you make room for the new. You release the fear that holds you back, and in doing so, you invite new possibilities into your life. This is how we grow. By shedding the old, the worn out, the limiting, and embracing the unknown. It's about trusting that life has a plan for you, even if you can't see it right now. By releasing control, you trust that everything will fall into place, exactly as it's meant to. Surrendering control doesn't mean you stop acting. It means you stop fighting against the natural flow of life. You still take action, but you do so with an understanding that the outcome is not entirely in your hands. You give your best, do your part, and trust that the universe will take care of the rest. This is where real freedom lies, in knowing that you are enough, that your efforts are enough, and that the rest will unfold as it should. So, release the need for control. Let go of the fear, the doubt, and the perfectionism. Step into the freedom that comes with trusting life and yourself. When you let go, you unlock a new level of growth, a growth that comes from surrender, from acceptance, and from the deep trust that everything you need is already within you. The power of authenticity and trust is not just limited to your personal life. When you show up as your true self, when you trust yourself and others, you create a ripple effect that can transform the world around you. It starts with you, your willingness to be vulnerable, to trust, to be authentic. But it doesn't stop there. Your actions, your energy, your presence, all send ripples into the world, affecting everyone you encounter. Imagine for a moment that you are a stone thrown into a pond. The stone represents your authenticity, your trust, and your vulnerability. As it hits the water, it creates ripples, spreading out in all directions. The people you encounter, your friends, your family, your colleagues, are the water that absorbs those ripples. They are touched by your authenticity, your willingness to be real, your openness to trust. And in turn, they are inspired to do the same. This is how personal growth spreads. It's not just about what you gain, but about what you give. When you live authentically, when you trust deeply, you set an example for others to do the same. You inspire them to shed their own masks, to trust themselves, and to embrace vulnerability. And as they do, the ripple effect continues, reaching farther and farther, creating a wave of authenticity and trust that spreads throughout the world. Authenticity has the power to break down barriers. It allows people to see each other as they truly are, without the filters, without the pretenses. When we are authentic, we create a safe space for others to be authentic as well. This is how connections are formed, not just on the surface, but at the deepest level. It's how we build relationships based on trust, not fear, based on love, not insecurity. Trust, too, has a ripple effect. When you trust others, you give them permission to trust you. You create an environment where people feel safe, where they can open up, be themselves, and take risks. Trust fosters collaboration, cooperation, and understanding. It breaks down walls of fear and doubt, allowing people to come together, to work together, and to support each other. But the ripple effect of authenticity and trust doesn't just impact your relationships. It impacts the way you see the world, the way you approach challenges, and the way you live your life. When you live authentically, you become a beacon for others. You inspire them to step into their own truth, to shed the masks they wear, and to live with purpose. And as more and more people embrace authenticity, the world begins to change. It becomes a world where connection, trust, and vulnerability are celebrated, where people are free to be who they truly are. This is the power of authenticity and trust. It transforms not just you, but the world around you. It creates a world where people feel seen, heard, and valued for who they truly are. It creates a world where relationships are built on a foundation of trust and understanding, where vulnerability is not a weakness, but a strength. It creates a world where personal growth is not just an individual pursuit, but a collective journey. So, let your authenticity shine. Let your trust flow. And watch as the ripple effect transforms not just your life, but the lives of everyone you touch. When you show up as your true self, when you trust deeply, you become part of something greater than yourself. You become part of a movement toward a more authentic, more connected, and more compassionate world. And that, my friends, is a world worth creating. We are often our harshest critics. We hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, expecting perfection from every action, every thought, every decision. And when we inevitably fall short, we punish ourselves. We retreat into self-criticism, thinking it will motivate us to do better. But in reality, this kind of harshness only leads to self-doubt, fear, and stagnation. The truth is, self-compassion is one of the most powerful tools we have in our journey toward growth. It is the antidote to the toxic perfectionism that so many of us carry. Self-compassion isn't about letting ourselves off the hook. It's not about avoiding hard work or growth. It's about accepting ourselves, flaws and all, and understanding that we are deserving of love, especially from ourselves. When we practice self-compassion, we stop holding ourselves to unrealistic standards. We stop expecting to get everything right all the time. And instead, we allow ourselves to be human. We accept that mistakes will happen, but they don't define us. They are part of the learning process, the path to growth, and the experience of being alive. When we approach ourselves with kindness, we free ourselves from the burden of perfectionism and open the door to real progress. Self-compassion is not just about being kind to ourselves when we succeed. It's especially important when we fail. It's in those moments of struggle that we most need the gentle voice of encouragement, the understanding that we are doing our best, and the belief that we are enough, regardless of the outcome. By embracing ourselves with compassion, we build the resilience to face challenges, to learn from our mistakes, and to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. But there's more to self-compassion than simply being kind to ourselves. It's also about giving ourselves permission to grow at our own pace. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to do more, to be more, to achieve more. But personal growth is not a race. It's a process. And it happens when we allow ourselves the space to evolve, to make mistakes, and to learn along the way. In a society that often values achievement over well-being, self-compassion is a radical act. It's a declaration that our worth is not defined by our productivity or success, but by our humanity. It's a commitment to ourselves that we are worthy of love, care, and understanding, regardless of our accomplishments. So, take a moment to reflect on how you treat yourself. When you make a mistake, do you offer yourself the same compassion you would offer a friend? When you face setbacks, do you show yourself kindness, or do you fall into self-criticism? Remember, you are worthy of your own love and support, especially when things don't go as planned. By practicing self-compassion, you not only unlock your own growth, but you also create a more peaceful, nurturing relationship with yourself. And in doing so, you give yourself the greatest gift of all, the freedom to grow without fear of failure. Every one of us leaves a legacy. Some legacies are written in history, marked by monumental achievements or acts of greatness. Others are more personal, quieter, yet equally impactful. They are the legacies we create in the lives of those we touch, in our families, in our friendships, in our communities. And the legacy we leave is shaped by the way we choose to live, by the choices we make every day, and by the authenticity with which we walk through the world. Authenticity is the cornerstone of a life well lived. When we live authentically, we live in alignment with our true selves. We make decisions based on our values, our passions, and our beliefs, not based on what others expect of us. We stop seeking validation from the outside world and instead find it within ourselves. This is the path to true fulfillment. The path to creating a legacy that is not only meaningful, but also lasting. The legacy of authenticity isn't something we can control. It's not about trying to impress others or live up to external expectations. It's about living in a way that feels true to who we are, regardless of the opinions of others. It's about showing up as our most authentic selves, even when it's difficult, even when it's uncomfortable. Because when we live authentically, we inspire others to do the same. We give them permission to shed their masks, to stop pretending, and to live fully as they are. But authenticity is not a destination. It's a continuous journey. It requires us to be constantly aware of our values, to be attuned to our inner voice, and to make choices that reflect our true selves. It requires us to be vulnerable, to trust that we are enough as we are, and to believe that the world will respond to our authenticity with the same love and acceptance we show ourselves. Living authentically isn't always easy. It means facing the fears and doubts that have kept us small. It means letting go of the need for approval, the need to be liked, and the need to fit in. But the rewards of authenticity are immeasurable. When we live authentically, we feel a deep sense of peace. We stop chasing external validation, and instead, We find contentment within ourselves. We feel connected to the people we love, to the work we do, and to the world around us. And this, ultimately, is the legacy we leave. It's not about the awards we win or the titles we hold. It's about how we make others feel, how we impact the lives of those around us, and how we inspire others to live authentically as well. A legacy of authenticity is a legacy of love, of connection, and of true fulfillment. It's a legacy that can never be taken away because it is built on the foundation of who we truly are. So, as you move through life, ask yourself, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? Do you want to be remembered for fitting in, for conforming to expectations? Or do you want to be remembered for being true to yourself, for living authentically, and for inspiring others to do the same? The choice is yours. Every day, with every decision, you are creating your legacy. Make it one that reflects the truest version of who you are. And in doing so, you will create a life that is not only meaningful to you, but also meaningful to the world around you. This is the legacy of authenticity, a legacy that will live on long after you're gone. As we reach the end of this journey, remember this: you are the author of your own story. The path to growth, trust, and authenticity doesn't happen overnight. It's a continuous journey, one that requires courage, vulnerability, and a deep understanding of who you are. Every step you take, every decision you make, shapes the life you will lead and the legacy you will leave behind. But it all begins with one powerful choice: the choice to be authentically you, the choice to embrace vulnerability, trust yourself, and let go of the need for control. These aren't just ideals. They are the tools you need to create a life that is fulfilling, connected, and truly yours. So, as you move forward, take these lessons with you. Practice self-compassion. Build trust with those around you. Let go of fear and embrace the power of being real, being vulnerable, and being human. This is how you unlock the next level of personal growth. This is how you create a life that reflects your truest self. And remember, this is just the beginning. If you've found value in these words, if they've sparked something within you, don't stop now. Hit that follow button and stay with us on this journey of growth, authenticity, and transformation. There's so much more to discover, and we'll be right here, guiding you every step of the way. Your journey is yours to define. Let's walk it together.